Alright, so in this question, we're going to find the trigonometric function values for negative 4 pi given the unit circle. So in other words, we need to find sine of negative 4 pi, cosine of negative 4 pi, tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant of negative 4 pi. So first off, we need to understand, okay, where is negative 4 pi on the unit circle? Well, first off, I know that pi radians is equal to 180 degrees, or half a circle. And I know that 2 pi is 360 degrees, or 1 full revolution. So if I put a negative 2 pi, it just means the reverse. It's the clockwise version of 360 degrees. Now if we're talking about negative 4 pi is 2 times negative 2 pi. It's twice this radian value. So negative 4 pi would mean that I start here in the positive x-axis. I make 1 full clockwise rotation. That would give me negative 2 pi. But then I could do 1 more rotation. And this would be negative 4 pi radians. So I would end up at this point where the coordinate is 1, 0. My x value is 1, and my y value is 0. Now, one more thing I need to know is my r, my radius. So from the center to this point, that's my r. That's going to be equal to 1, because we're talking about the unit circle, and a unit circle has a radius of 1. So if I know my x, if I know my y, if I know my r, I can find out what these 6 values are. So first, with sine, I need to remember sine is equal to y over r. And y is equal to 0. And r is equal to 1. 0 over 1 is just 0. So sine of negative 4 pi is equal to 0. Moving on, cosine of negative 4 pi, that's going to be equal to x over r. X, if I look back at this graph, x is equal to 1, so I'm going to write 1 over r, which again is 1. And simplify that. 1 over 1 is just 1. So cosine of negative 4 pi is equal to 1. Now, tangent of negative 4 pi is going to be equal to y over x. Y is 0, and x is 1. And if I simplify 0 over 1, I get 0. So tangent of negative 4 pi is equal to 0. Now we're moving to the cofunctions. So first, cotangent of negative 4 pi. Well, remember, cofunctions are all just inverses of the other function. So cotangent, just think tangent. What's the inverse of tangent? Remember, tangent is y over x, so I'm going to flip top and bottom. Cotangent is going to be x over y. And I know x is 1 and y is 0. And 1 over 0, careful, 1 over 0 is not 0, it's undefined. So for the answer, the question where it asks for cotangent of negative 4 pi, you would pick choice B. The function is undefined. It's not 0, it's undefined. What about secant of negative 4 pi? Secant, think of cosine. Cosine is x over r, but just like with cotangent, you flip them. So r goes on top, x goes on bottom, and you would write r over x. And r is 1, x is 1, and 1 over 1 simplifies to just 1. So secant of negative 4 pi is equal to 1. Lastly, the cosecant of negative 4 pi. Cosecant, think sine. Sine is y over r, but you flip them, so you put r on top, y on bottom, r over y, and you plug in the values. R is equal to 1, just like it's always been. Y is equal to 0, And 1 over 0, again, it's not 0. It's going to be, just like with cotangent, it's undefined. So with the last question, where they give you choice A and choice B, you would pick choice B, and the function's undefined. So for this question, you need to solve these 6 trigonometric function values. Yes, there are 6 formulas, but really you just need to know y over r for sine, x over r for cosine, and y over x for tangent. If you know these 3, then it's just about remembering that with cotangent, it's the opposite of tangent. So cotangent is the opposite of tangent. Secant, it's the opposite of cosine. When I say opposite, I mean you switch top and bottom. It's not x over r, it's going to be r over x. And with cosecant, it's going to be the opposite of sine. Sine is y over r, but if we're talking about cosecant, you switch it, it's r over y. So these 3 things you don't really have to remember. As long as you remember the first 3 basic ones, you'll be able to derive the last 3 yourselves. And after that, just plug in the values for x, y, and r, and then you can solve the problem. And that's it.